Hey guys, welcome back for another video, and in today we have a comparison video of the latest Poco M2 versus the Realme Narzo 10. Now both these phones are pretty similar in features, and we are going to tell you some small differences between these two phones and ultimately which one you should choose, because these two phones come around more or less the same price category. So let's start. Let us tell you that this comparison is based on certain criterias, and the criterias are about the display, about the processor, about the camera, about the battery, about the UI, about the variant and the color, about the protection, and ultimately about the price. So please do like, share, subscribe and comment, and let us start the video right now. First we come to the display. First, let me talk about the Realme Narzo 10. Narzo 10, if you compare with the Poco M2, was a bit earlier launch than the Poco M2, and it only has a IPS LCD display. Poco M2 also has an IPS LCD display, but it also has an FHD, I mean full HD display. So you miss the full HD display on the Narzo 10. And in the full HD display you can get more crisper colors. Let's talk about the display size. The display size of the Realme Narzo 10 is the 6.5 inch exact, whereas the M2 supports 6.53 inch. Now display is not an issue because the smaller the display in this point, the more compact the phone will be and more easier it will be to handle. So here overall in the display I give points to the Poco M2, but we have more to talk about the display. The resolution, if you see, Poco M2 has a 2340x1080 pixel resolution display and Narzo 10 has a 1600x780 pixel display. Both these displays support only 60Hz refresh rate. You do not get any additional refresh rate right here. So overall in display I would say the Poco M2 wins. So 1 point to the Poco M2 right here. Now let's move on to our next criteria, which is the processor. Now both these phones have the same processor, the MediaTek Helio G80, and if you try to look for a competitor in the segment, if you try to look for a Qualcomm competitor, then Snapdragon 675 is the average performance of these two phones. So here no points to anyone because it's the same processor. Let's move on to the next segment, the camera. Now camera, the Realme Narzo 10 definitely wins because Poco M2 has a 13 megapixel primary camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, 5 megapixel macro camera and 2 megapixel depth camera. Depth cameras of both the phones are of no use, we all know, and Narzo 10 supports a 48MP shooter Samsung camera. It is 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, but the macro camera is slightly weaker than the Poco M2 if you compare with megapixel, but the real image will be shown in front of you and you can see it right in front of you. And so this is the difference. And let's see the selfie, the 8 megapixel not selfie on the Poco M2 and 16 megapixel not selfie on the Realme Narzo 10. So Narzo 10 has both rear and selfie cameras better. So here Narzo 10 gets 1 point. Let's move on to the next criteria, the battery. Both these phones support 5000 mAh battery. Now 5000 mAh battery is pretty common right now in the budget segment, but if you see fast charging limit, both have USB Type-C port, there's no problem in that. But Poco M2 has 10 watt in box, and whereas Narzo 10 has 18 watt charger in box. Not to mention that Poco M2 also supports 18 watt fast charging, but since Poco M2 is a rebranded version of the Redmi 9 Prime, Redmi did it purposely to show that Redmi 9 Prime is not a bad phone in front of Poco M2. Let's move on to the next segment, which is the vibrance or the colors. Now as you can see in the pictures, Poco M2 comes in 3 colors, red, blue and black, whereas Narzo 10 comes in 3 colors, white, green and blue. To be personal opinion, it is that Narzo 10 looks much better than the Poco M2 in terms of design and color. Now let's talk about variants. Poco M2 comes in 2 variants, whereas Narzo 10 comes only in 1 variant. Poco M2 has 6GB of RAM combined with 64GB of storage, and another variant which is 6GB of RAM combined with 128GB of storage. Whereas Narzo 10 has only one storage variant, which is a downgrade point because 4GB plus 128GB is the only one. So according to if you see vibrance, I would give the point to Poco M2 because of a 6GB variant. So overall the points of Narzo 10 are 2 and Poco M2 also got 2 points till now. Let's see the next segment. protection and UI. The Poco M2 has a Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protection, and Narzo 10 also has a Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protection. The protection is same for both the phones, and both the phones support Android 10, but the launchers are different. Poco M2 runs on MIUI 11, and MIUI 12 update will come very soon, we hope in 3 or 4 months. And it has an additional Poco launcher which removes most of the ads, and even if you get ads, you will get very few ads. Whereas the Narzo 10 has Realme UI 1.0, and we can expect the Realme UI 2.0 update to be coming soon. And Realme UI has very few ads. So Poco launcher has no ads, Realme has very few ads. So right here I'm also gonna give 1 point to Poco itself because of the Poco launcher 2.0. Now we come to the last segment, the price. Poco M2 is priced at 10,999, that is 11,000 for the 6GB plus 64GB variant. Whereas Realme Narzo 10 is priced at 11,999, that is 12,000 for the 4GB plus 128GB variant. But if you want good storage, Poco has also done one good thing right now. That 6GB plus 128GB variant you can see of 12,500, that means 12,500 rupees, whereas Narzo 10 doesn't have any variant like that. So if you tell me, I would recommend you the Poco M2 here, because Poco M2 offers better variants and storage at cheaper price in comparison to Narzo 10 if you go for the 6GB plus 128GB variant. Although it is not a value for money at that 6GB plus 128GB variant, the value for money lies only at 6GB plus 64GB variant, because it turns out to be the cheapest phone with 6GB RAM. So if you want a decent budget phone at the price of 10 to 11,000, Poco M2 is the best phone. But if you want a okay camera phone with a good battery and decent display, you can go for the Narzo 10. But overall, Poco M2 supports FHD, so display also Poco M2 is better. So overall, I would recommend you, if you do not care about the camera and want decent gaming and a good display and decent screen, so I would recommend you the Poco M2. So the winner of this comparison is Poco M2. So hope you like this video, and do like, share, subscribe and comment, and we'll be back with our next video soon. So till then, bye. Now it's time for a short disclaimer that Poco M2 is actually a rebranded Redmi 9 Prime. So if you are thinking of that we shouldn't have rated Poco M2 so much, then to be honest, the points mainly lies on Redmi, because Redmi is a company under Xiaomi. So ultimate winner is Xiaomi versus Realme. So Xiaomi wins here. So thanks for watching.